Hey everyone. Um, I messed up on trying to stream already this morning. Um, so I'm trying to fix everything at the moment. I think it'll be good. So today we're going to be making a double-walled cup or double-walled teapot. Ooh, excuse me. Um, and I think it should be a good time. I think a double-walled teapot will be nice. I'll figure out how to actually um, put on like actual thumbnails and stuff like that at a certain point in my life and actually try to figure things out. I can't clearly do it yet. Um, this will take a while. This is not going to be a short stream. Um, so just keep that in mind. I'll be here for a couple hours probably making this thing. So slow morning, so start. That's okay. It's all right to have things like that. So first thing we're gonna do is make the body of our teapot. It's gonna be a pretty round teapot form. One second, I just want to get this actually, make sure if anybody actually decides to join, we're gonna change the positioning to this. Is it not gonna let me do it? Hmm. One day I will figure this out. No. I'm really struggling right here, aren't I? Okay. All right, I give up. I can't figure out how to make the orientation to the side. So you guys are gonna have to just deal with this orientation. Because you know, if anybody wants to tell me how to do it, that'd be awesome. Uh, but I I give up. So we're just gonna make a normal teapot in a vertical style, and that's that. So this is going to be, like I said, a double-walled teapot. It's gonna be round with a top handle. We're gonna throw the base of this, and then we're gonna pull a handle and let that thing dry for a little bit, and go from there. What's up, TT? How are you? So this is essentially my oldest style teapot form. Um, the only thing is that it's double walled now. So that's the only big difference. And it essentially makes it so it takes a single walled one I could do in like 40 minutes. This will probably take us an hour and a half, 2 hours. What's up? How are you? And if you guys didn't see, I have a giveaway going on for a double walled cup. So if you're interested, uh, all you really have to do is comment on this live video anything you wanted, as long as it's not disgusting, and follow me and you're entered. So, what? You do? Do you do it yourself or do you just admire? Cool. I think I like this. It's a little bit more squat than I was originally going to make it, but I think that's okay. I think that'll be a cool form once it's trimmed and everything. We'll see. At some point today, we might try to get some music going in here. I might just put on some like lo-fi, because maybe that'll not get me kicked off, you know? Thanks. Yeah, I think that's a good base form. What? Why would they not let you? That doesn't make any sense to me. We do need to open up this top a little bit more, otherwise the interior capacity is going to be really low, and it's not going to make any sense. But before we do that, we're going to give this a bit of a torch. This just firms up the clay, lets us speed up the process. That makes sense. It's both of those things. And it's super hard to make a living from it or make any money from it. So that also makes sense. Checks out. A torch is better than a heat gun. It's just that most craft centers won't let you have a torch. So that makes sense. Yeah, this is a real trash junker cup. If this broke right now, if I just dropped this, not a big deal. Ryan, I can make anything I want. Am I going to? No. Can I? Yes. All right, so I'm going to open this top up more now that I've torched the inside and try not to burn my hand like I just did. And this will just, ow, really painful. I should wait for this to dry or stop being so hot, but I'm impatient. All right, that's too hot. I can't touch it anymore. Cool. All right, so we're going to make 2 measurements now. A custom plant pot sounds lovely. Sounds super lovely. I make a lot of orchid pots and things like that. That's actually something we might do today. We're going to be in here all day. So we're at 3.5 inches tall from the interior. Like I said, I can make whatever you want. I'm not cheap though. So if you want a big bowl for your fishies, you're going to have to pay big dollars. So that's our width of our interior. But before we do that, we're going to pull a handle for this. Sounds good. Yeah, I will probably stop and start a couple different live videos throughout the day. I kind of like to make one thing and then take a break and then come back and make another thing and then take a break and kind of go from there. So pulling a handle is something I don't do except for these top-handled teapots, mostly because I don't like the look of them anymore. And secondly, people can't over-sexualize. They just completely over-sexualize this action. And it was funny for the first couple of years, but like, I've been doing this almost 10 years now, and I just don't really feel like hearing the jokes anymore, you know? I'm all online these days. I realize that in person, it's too expensive to be full-time as a potter. There's a link to my shop in my bio, I think. I'm trying to be more active on YouTube. I'll probably be here live when the weather warms up. I'll be here live pretty much every day, 7 days a week for like a 2-week stint, and then I'll take a week or 2 off from being here, and then I'll come back, and we're going to go back and forth doing that every month for every year, for every yeah, every month except for like late December through early February, where the uncertainty of the heat in my studio makes it hard to actually work in here. Yeah, Darren, honestly, it's like every single person that I hear two things as doing pottery for as long as I have been. I will always hear a ghost reference. I refuse to watch that movie. And then I always hear over sexualized actions for simplistic things. So no, I'm self-taught. I did take one class once, but back in 2015, it was a 3-month class once a week. But I'm self-taught. And I started doing this full time in 2018. So it's been a few years. All right, let me go put this on a piece of plaster and let this dry. Plaster just absorbs water. And so by the time we're ready to put this on, this should be ready to go. Cool. And while I'm over here and you guys can't see anything, I'm gonna throw another log in my fire because it's chilly. It's not super cold out today, but it's still chilly in my studio. So, and usually I get in here early and I start a big fire, and then I wait for it to warm up and blah blah blah. But I have a pretty lackluster amount of wood in my studio currently, and so I can't really be picky about when I'm in here, when I'm not in here, and stuff like that as far as wood goes. Yeah, right. It's kind of incredible. I've never understood it. No, they don't. The big thing is that the way I do fire my pots too is the least profitable way. So I atmospherically fire my pots, so either a soda kiln or a wood kiln, and the amount of labor that goes into it, um, and wood and gas or whatever it is, depending on the kind of kiln, is so much more than like an electric kiln. But I can't sell my work for any more than an electric fired pot, just because no one cares. If someone thinks something's pretty, it's all that matters. Um, but it is what it is. I've been very fortunate to be able to do this full time since 2018, so I can't complain. I do want to put some lo-fi music on though, or something, because it's usually so. Usually, I listen to music while I'm streaming, but I'm putting my headphones in today. Hopefully, so the volume, the audio quality is better for you guys. Um, but to be honest, I can't really. I'm here so often. I can't throw in silence. I'll lose my mind, honestly. Um, the problem is that I'm gonna get this video is now gonna be demonetized. So um, I appreciate that, Darren. Yeah, right. Um, turn on some Wi-Fi. Turn off my Bluetooth so it doesn't connect. All right, give me 1 second. I'm gonna find a lo-fi station that maybe won't demonetize me because it's like background lo-fi. Let's do. I just need something going on, you know what I mean? I don't know what this is. Hopefully it's good. And hopefully it's not recognizable so I can I can post this later. But I just need like something going on, you know? There we go. So this is the interior section. That's exactly what we want, and we want to go at 3 inches. Boom, perfect. So now we're going to take our next measurement, which is the edge rim. So we're going to pull the rim of this out a little bit. So the cool thing about the teapot we're making today is that I just wrote an article for Ceramics Monthly, which is this big pottery magazine. They asked me to write an article on double-walled teapots. So I made one of these last night for that, and I wrote out a whole article on it, and I'm a horrible writer, so I sent it off to a friend. So hopefully she okays it to a degree, and I think I'm going to be in the May edition for Ceramics Monthly, so that'll be kind of cool. Are they like a porcelain bell? Can I ask why you are specifying porcelain? This is porcelain. We're using porcelain right now, but I'm curious why you're talking about porcelain versus stoneware or terracotta or something. They do. I subscribe because I was also the 2024 emerging artist for Ceramic Monthly as well, and so I got a subscription starting last year for that. But do I like ceramic bells? Yeah, I mean I don't dislike ceramic bells. Oh, but do you like specifically porcelain ones? And why is it that you like the porcelain ones? Do you like the whiteness of the porcelain? Um, Thanks, Sydney. Appreciate it. Yeah, it was a nice thing to happen. So the idea here is we have to get this dry enough that we can trim it right now, but wet enough that we can still throw with it. So it's kind of a fine balance. Also, I'm super new to YouTube streaming. For some reason, I couldn't get the horizontal mode to work for streaming. Do you guys prefer that, or do you like this vertical mode? Gotcha. A bell is just a closed form with a piece of clay stuck in there. That's all it is. It's a pretty simple thing to do. Unless you're talking about just adding a string to this, and then you would just put a hole in there, put a string, and then just make a bead out of clay. They're really simple. I have noticed that so far, to a degree. But I'm thinking more of like on playback and stuff like that. Would it be like less likely that someone would want to watch this back later on? I'll go back and forth between the two then, because and just till I find the sweet spot. Because again, brand new to streaming here, so I don't know what the I don't know what the move is yet. I'm just really bored of TikTok. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking too. I don't think anybody's going to rewatch it vertical. I certainly don't watch vertical stuff on YouTube, so that's not live. All right, I need a piece of clay to trim that. Thank you. I hope you'll win it. All you have to do is say something here and follow me, and you're in. You're in the running. And I'll probably pick someone on like Friday or something, or maybe sooner because I haven't really been active. I don't cut my pots in half too often anymore. I used to relatively often back in the day. I'll cut them in half if they're not working. Like, here, I can grab you guys something real quick. You might like to look at it. All right, let me grab something real quick. So this is what we're making right now. A different shape, and granted, the bottom is gone, but this is what we're making. Is a double walled teapot. This is a hybrid version of the double walled teapot, and it's missing its base, which is why we had to destroy it. But this is what we're making right now, essentially. Good, perfect. That's exactly what I was saying, Sydney. That's to the T. Who's Benedict? Sounds like a cool dude. Got to say the same thing twice. How do you center a pot again? What's trimming like again? Thank you, appreciate it. I think I have some double walled ones on my website currently, but I don't think I have any single walled ones available. The next firing's in March, so I'll have some stuff available that's not super crazy expensive. The double walled stuff is a lot more expensive than the single walled stuff, so. It's more challenging, Sydney, and it allows for like more expression as far as design goes. Um, and it slows me down. If I do single walled stuff, I get into a production state and I just kind of like make stuff and I'm not really thinking about it. If I'm making a double walled pot, I'm in it, full in that double walled pot until it's done. And so when I'm making single walled pots, I'm throwing away half of everything that I make. When I'm making double walled pots, I'm generally only throwing away unless I break it. That's really it. Cool, I'm in the States. Sounds good. I appreciate that. Yeah, we're gonna make. I have a lot to make for the next couple firings. I want to make teapot pendants. I'm gonna bring those back. I used to make them all the time, which were teapots that were about this big, and I made them so they had a hole so you could wear them as a necklace. And I want to make a couple more cups with holes everywhere versus the flower pattern and things like that. This, I think, is going to get a flower pattern. I'm not entirely sure. Or maybe not. Maybe this will just get holes everywhere. When we get to the point where we can make that decision, we'll talk about it again and we can come to a conclusion here. I haven't had a teapot that's just full of holes in a while. I can't even remember the last time I've made one. No, people are starting to do it more often now that that I've been posting about it for the last like 3 years straight. I get a lot of like people messaging me how to make things, and since a couple of years ago, or since last year, really, I've started to see a really big uptake in double walled vessels. Um, So they are becoming more prevalent, but they're so much harder to make than a single walled pot. It's pretty rare that anybody would actually willingly go out of their time to do it, you know? They're sold out. I can't buy any more black clay. Last time I checked at Sheffield, they were full out. I shouldn't have told people about it before I bought more. I screwed up. Yeah, no one saw that. Didn't happen. You're not going to see this part anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Yeah, so I have no idea. My plan was to because someone ordered a custom ordered a dinner set out of that black clay, and I told them sometime in like May or April or something, but I can't buy the clay, so maybe they'll have it available in a couple months or something like that, so I can actually do that. But it's hard to say, you know. All right, so this is going to be exposed, and I don't really mind that this thing is a little teapot, but it looks like a bee. You probably can't even see it. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't look like a teapot to anybody except me. Um, the black clay's cool though, so it'd be nice to like get back into it. It was short-lived, right? I did one firing and then they sold out. So good. Yeah, the black clay bowl that I kept for myself, I just kept one piece of it. I like it a lot. Oh, I kept the teapot because it chipped. I kept the double wall teapot for myself too. I forgot about that. Thank you. Appreciate it. These are these are going to be most of the things here are going to be like your double wall teapot that you got. They're going to be orange. I really, really, really like the orange. And so I'm going to focus on orange, purple, and pink for the next couple firings. I'm sick of blue. I don't want to do blue anymore, just for at least 2 or 3 firings. You know, maybe I'll do blue in like, I don't know, just like on 1 or 2 things every so often. But, or if it's soda fired, I'll use Ayumi, which is a nice blue, but, right? I think it's a nice combo of colors. Yeah, orange is great. I feel like it's an underappreciated color in pottery. You don't really see it that often. Christina, how are you? I'm doing all right. Been taking trash to the transfer station and recycling all morning, so it's nice to be in the studio making something instead of at the dump. My car smells horrible at the moment. Yeah, cool. Most people honestly like blue. You know, how many years can I do blue? I'm getting sick of it. It's not like I'm devaluing it. Blue is still like one of Ayumi, which is this really beautiful blue, is one of my favorite glazes of all times. But yeah, and purple is just a really hard color to get, so I'm hoping that to get that. Pink, no one buys. I love the pink though. I'm such a fan of pink as a color. Okay. I can if you'd like me to. I wasn't planning on making any cups with handles. If we do, they probably will be double walled with handles because which is unnecessary. But I just don't like mugs. I don't like using mugs, and so I have a hard time wanting to make mugs. You know. All right. Light pink's great. Yeah, pink's great. I don't know why it's like not super popular in pottery. Christina made a gorgeous pink teapot that I'm not sure if she posted yet or not. Um, but pink is great. Oh, thank you, Mackenzie. I appreciate that. Very sweet of you. How are you? Yeah, I think I don't like making mugs because I don't like using mugs. I love making handles. I love making cups, but you know, outside of that, I don't know what to do there. What? Why are you stressed out, Mackenzie? Yeah. Well, everybody's gonna love it when you do post it. Yeah, it's a good studio day. I was supposed to go to the mountain with the kids today, or I thought I was, but um it's parent teacher conferences today, so I'm off the hook. Ah, I just screwed up. Yeah, I cut it pretty hard, and now I get a nice undulating rim. The teapot I made yesterday, um, Scottish Highlands. I want to go to Scotland. It looks really pretty. I got to figure. I'm jumping all over this place right now, but I haven't figured out still what I'm doing in June. Wait, June, July. I always leave the country in July, and I haven't decided if I actually want to this year. I'm still like teetering on just doing like a 10-day backpacking trip with dog. I'm not planning on it. I'm not smart enough to become a doctor. My plan is to marry a doctor, and then I can just do this for the rest of my life. So, anyway, uh, I need to poke an air hole. Oh wait, so we're gonna try. I think what we're gonna try to do is go all the way around and do holes everywhere on this one. So it's gonna be a guideline. Yeah, pottery is pretty great. There's just no money in it. Okay, so I'm poking out this hole here because if I don't and I torch, the whole thing will implode on itself. Right? That's the way to do it. Yeah, I probably will come over to Scotland at some point. I don't know. Let's see, that was like my bit of ancestry that I actually know is Canadian Scottish, and that's about it. Exactly, Sydney. All right, so now we're gonna do. Sorry, little dog. Do a little tricky part here. It's pretty great. It's still we've talked about this over on different streams over the years, but it still blows my mind that was the worst coil I've ever rolled in my life. It still blows my mind that pottery is so um, not considered art. But I mean, I'm fine with that. I don't want to be in the art world, but correct. So if I was to torch it without poking that hole, it would create a reverse vacuum in the inside, and the whole outside would just go blit. It happens on my whistles all the time. Some days are better days than others for the old coil, and today is not a good day for this coil. I clearly can't do it. Is it the clay? Is it me? Is it this board? whatever. I don't think it really matters. It's good enough. I'll show this after I'm done there. But essentially we're just you can't push in a gallery for where the teapot, the lid sits. So I have to put a coil to put it in. Envy, awesome. All right, what's new? What's happening? How are you feeling? Are you still sick? Yeah, Christina, we're doing teapots today. Yeah, I got a haircut a couple days ago. It was just getting in my way. I think you were in here the other day, but I was wearing a hat the whole time. I think I already had the haircut. This dude's a big I like him because he's so cheap, but he's a big into like military-ish looking haircuts. So if I'm not careful, the dude will just buzz my head. So I wasn't really paying attention when he was cutting it the other day, and so it got a little shorter than I expected, but I don't mind it. I appreciate it. Thank you. Oh, awesome. How much are you getting off? You have really long hair. So I feel like get a decent amount off. Do you guys see the teapot I made last night, by the way? Pretty psyched on it. Awesome. Looking forward to it. All right, so smeared that, and now I need to throw this in as best as I can. So I kind of figured this out with the whole double camera thing, or double, like I need my computer if I'm going to stream on YouTube, but it works. It seems to be working out pretty well. There, Darren. Thanks for stopping in. I couldn't stream making it because that teapot I needed to take photos of every so often because they're for the ceramics monthly article that I'm writing. So yeah, I had to take photos. I've made a couple of teapots for it, and then I wrote the article, and I realized that the photos I was taking were not actually helpful for how I was writing the article, so I had to remake the teapot so it would actually all kind of come together and make sense. Thanks. Awesome. Sounds good. Yeah, that teapot, it's small too. I don't know if you could tell scale on the teapot from yesterday, but I might grab it real quick and show you guys because I'm pretty psyched on it. Yeah. It's smaller than I was kind of anticipating making last night. But yeah, and it took this thing because I was taking photos and trying to do things, uh, however, whatever, it ended up being like a 4-hour teapot build, which kind of drove me a little bit insane. Not gonna lie, but I'm psyched on it. I think it's great. It has a cool little. I did a different style for the lid, so it's a double walled lid, but it only has a few holes instead of all the same pattern and all that. But yeah, I wrote the article for Ceramic Monthly. I sent it off to a friend of mine to reread for me just to make sure I'm not a great writer. So thanks, Christina. I'm not a great writer, so I need someone to look over what I did. She has not responded with like anything about it yet. So, granted, it ended up being like a 4-page thing. Is they wanted a step-by-step on how to make a double-walled teapot for this, and there's a lot of steps. And you know what I should have realized, but I've never realized, because I just make these and I'm not really thinking about them while I'm doing it. These are a lot harder to make than I thought. There's a lot of steps. Thank you. A ton of steps, like a disgusting amount of steps to make a double walled teapot. I just am so used to making all the different steps that I just don't even think about it anymore. Okay, do we need this on the wheel anymore? I don't think so. I think this can come off now. Yeah. They asked me a question, like, so there was like there's an interview part about it first, and then the whole like how to on the double walled stuff. And the last question on the interview section was interesting. Oh, let me torch this. The last question was interesting. It was, did I not wire this off? Here, let me show you this before I forget because I keep going. So that's what our gallery looks like after we throw in a coil. It looks like any normal gallery, right? The question was like, what was the most inspirational piece of advice an artist has given you? And yeah, well, I think the thing is, I'm so used to making a double walled teapot or a normal teapot now that like that that's the easy part, and then this double walled part's the hard part that actually takes time. But I don't even think about that first step. Um, I appreciate that. Thank you, Sydney. I might take you up on that. Um, I've lost my train of thought completely. It's like make a lid. I'm worried that the handle we pulled earlier is actually not going to be long enough. But do I need any of this clay? Oh, sorry. I'm okay. I remember what I was talking about. So we were talking about the interview question, and the last question was like, did you learn anything specific from an artist or something over the years, or like that was really helpful, or like the most beneficial advice you ever got? And I sat with that question for like 30 minutes because no, I realized that I haven't actually received any one piece of good information, or even like there's nothing like that stands out as far as good advice goes. What I was really lucky enough to kind of be a part of was a community of people who just let you be there while things were happening. And so I wasn't taught how to fire a kiln by this is how you do this and this is how you do that. It was all experimental based, and I was just a part of someone else's learning process. Um, so it was just, it took me that like question. I had to sit with it for a while to really like think of any good advice I've ever actually been given. And I don't think I really have been given any good advice compared to that. I think that's so much better and so much more beneficial. Granted, I understand that it comes from a very privileged place of just being lucky enough to be around people willing to do that. But I think the pottery community is so um, friendly that if you wanted to fire with someone, you could. Anybody. Some people you'll probably have to pay for, but the point is you could still fire with pretty much anybody you would want to. My friend Liz, it really is. It makes a big difference. She was in the March Ceramic Monthly, doing the same studio talk thing that I'm going to be in for the like May edition or whatever. I hope that I'm not in the March edition because I need to reread that contract they send me. I wish people wouldn't email me. I just don't. I just don't look. I think we're good. I'm losing a train. Oh, she was making like darts, and so I haven't gotten the issue yet because it's the March issue, but like the whole article is just about darts, and I just wonder if they're gonna get mad at me for trying to like write so much. Like they asked for something so complicated compared to every other one I've seen, which they're not complicated in the same way. My assumption is that the article will be available online and in hard copy, but I'm not sure. I think it's just the May issue, and so I think they always post an online version and a hard copy version. I can also just send you what I wrote to them if you would like a step by step written out, incoherently though, because my writing skills. Cool. We'll make it happen. All right. So we don't need this. Can come off. Get out of here. Now we need to make a spout. Why is it? Let me put another log on my fire. It's weirdly cold in here. Like it shouldn't be. I have logs going. They're cranking. They're cruising. I don't know why. And it's warm outside. I really don't know why. I'm chilled. So the only word limit thing they did was on was about the, I think, unless I misread, which is very possible, was about the interview part. That had to be under 750 words. Um, and then when they were like, when they said to write the article for the how-to, they said short as you can, but don't leave out any crucial points. And it's like, what isn't a crucial point? Like, do I just tell someone to make a teapot and then start working? You know what I mean? Like, what? Whatever. I'll send it to them. They can do it with whatever information that they like. They can cut out parts if they want to. I really could care less. I will send pictures that are all relative. They want 10 pictures, process pictures that go with the writing. So I will send them the photos and I will send them what I wrote. And yeah, they can mix and match however they please. But I'm pretty sure I get a 2-page spread in the thing, which is kind of cool. The ones they sent me as like reference points for my writing It was literally, one was about how to just like hand build a cup, and the other one was like how to hand build a um, vase. So I really hope they're expecting more information, because those hand building a cup and a vase are way. I mean, it's like not even comparable. Um, so I don't know. I don't know. Correct. I'm carving out all the inside. So essentially, what I'm trying to do is thin it out as much as I can and keep it a clear passage through so it pours well. Hmm. That's a little. I think that's a unique thing to me. I taught myself to do that years ago when I first started making teapots, and I don't think I've seen anybody else do that method. I think people do other things that probably work pretty well, but oh well. Oh well. Correct. I'm just gonna bend this just a touch. I don't really feel like bending this too hard. Or do I? I don't think that's how they do it though. I'm a little I because I've never seen anybody else use the technique before, and so there must be something more common that people are doing for spouts. But here's the other thing: who makes teapots? You know, I don't know anybody who really makes teapots on a common base. They're always like one-off, once a year, twice a year situations. So, and a lot of people who are more well known for like Western style teapots, um, they use molds, like Randy Johnson and stuff like that. His handles and spouts, they're all molds. They're cool molds, big wooden things, but it makes sense why they're so thin. Um, Other teapot makers that I like. Um, I mean, there are people that I follow that they're okay. They're like, I mean, I like their stuff. I wouldn't like necessarily recommend it. I've never tried that, Sydney. It probably would be helpful, honestly. Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, even those guys, yeah, I think they're nice. They make cool pots. Here's my issue. They're all making replicas of Chinese teapots. There's no them in it. You know what I mean? Bonnie. I really appreciate that. Thank you. It's very sweet of you. Um, I they're just essentially copies of Chinese style teapots. Um, and so like I'm trying to think of more of like in the sense of like who's making a teapot that isn't just like a copy of something else that they wood fired. Um, my God, are you all doctors over there in Scotland, Bonnie? My goodness. Um, there's a um, John Townley makes cool Western style teapots, like English style teapots. I don't know if I sent you my fish tank, the picture of my fish tank before, but he made the teapot that's in my fish tank. Um, I have a friend. I take it back. I can't remember his name. Is it Carter Pierce? It might be Carter Pierce. He makes really cool teapots. Um, so, oh yeah, blush all the time, you know. It's You really don't find people making their own interpretation of a tea. Oh, I take it back. There's a cool dude who makes like they look like they're made out of stone teapots. Again, Western style teapots though. So I'll send you a photo later of the one that I have from Carter. Um, yeah, but there's still just. I mean, I love Mark's stuff, and I think he's a wonderful person. But there's still just a copy, right? I mean, he puts the face on the inside of the flange, but it's just a round Ishi style teapot, right? Yeah, I will send you stuff. Will you message me on Instagram just as so don't forget? And Mark is a really lovely guy. I'm not trying to be like um I'm not trying to be negative in any context. He's a lovely guy and his pots are lovely. I was really trying to think more of like people who do things that are different than like a stock standard teapot, you know? Yeah, but it's a very small variation of a take on a coil built Chinese teapot. You know what I mean? I'm not again, they're great. They're lovely. But yeah. Exactly, Bonnie. Exactly. I am exactly, Christina. I'm bored with traditional style, which is why we have been kind of experimenting with stuff. Um, if you can find people who make cool gaiwan or shibori dashi that are variants of what they're supposed to be, like my shibori dashi aren't what a shibori dashi are supposed to look like. Neither are my hohen. So if you can find someone who breaks out of the category of it a little bit, I think they're cool. But I don't know. And then if you want to go a step further, people that I can't even name, stepping it further into the atmospheric world, who is there that's doing something different at all? Like Jonathan Steele, like he makes really beautiful teapots, but to the same caveat, they are just traditional Chinese teapots. Hmm. Gotcha. Okay, fair. I will blame Garden. I didn't know Garden. Oh wait, yes, that's right. They were a doctor. I do recall that now. Totally blamed. All right. I think we're done with this spout. I think I can torch it and get it up from there. Oh, you know who makes what is his name? He makes this really, really kind of round teapot with these really disgustingly thin and practical handles. Super well known in the community right now, or was at least last year, for like really drippy, drooly cone six glazes that kind of flood and pool and stuff like that. Um, I don't really like the teapots, but in person, um, but I love the concept and I love what he's doing, and I hope he never stops it. I wouldn't personally buy one, but they are very cool. Um, I'll try to send his. Would you mind when you message me on Instagram later? Um, would you mind writing like a little mild descriptor of what I'm trying to say to you? Because I couldn't tell you even mildly what these people's names are. Um, But I think that also speaks like wonders to the fact that um, we can talk about. I'm game for some foot questions. I have no arch at all. Got the flattest feet of anybody I know. I'm for it. I've been to a podiatrist so often as a kid. We're making a double-walled teapot, and at the moment, we're making a double-walled lid for the double-walled teapot. And at the very moment, we're trimming the lid, the first part of the lid for the double-walled part. So I'm slightly in a like in my head right now, trying to figure out other people that I like that make teapots. I have friends over the years who have made one-off teapots that I thought were really lovely, but I can't like picture them. I can tell you a lot of people who make lovely cups, but yeah, teapots. So, Kung Fu specific teapots. I own 3 teapots from other potters. One teapot is actually big enough for the style of drinking tea that for Gong Fu Cha. But the other 2 are for herbal infusions. They're too big. My Carter Pierce one's too big, and I have a friend who makes lovely pots named. Wow, I'm gonna have to send you a big list later. A list and a lot of pictures of stuff. Um, my other buddy who made the teapot, he's not a full-time potter, um, but his Instagram is many paths up the mountain, and just a lovely human being. He's starting to make more teapots, a lot of side-handled stuff. Um, his stuff's nice. The one I have, I use all the time. It pours great and looks nice, and yeah, I got no complaints with that. Exactly, Sydney. So we're lacking a tea culture. So how are we supposed to have nice teapots that reflect those teas? And I'm trying to go like start a tea room situation with tea once a month tea event based. I keep talking about it because I'm hoping that the more I talk about it, the more likely I'll actually get doing it. Um, where uh, where I can just kind of introduce people to teas and um, and just kind of open their mind away from tea bags and get rid of that crummy tea. Get rid of English breakfast and Yorkshire Gold and all those really disgusting tea brands. Um, so, granted, if you like that, it's not what I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to like, if you like that, go for it. But stop drinking tea bag tea. Thanks, Fluffy. Appreciate you. All right, so I'm just trying to trim this thing relatively flat with a bevel on the side for the connection point. And when I say flat, I mean completely round. We're making currently we're working on the first part of a double walled lid for a double walled teapot. I think that's, well, I'm gonna go down a little bit further on the edge. Lids are tough. Lids are super tough. I feel like when I first started making teapots, lids and spouts, I had to make like 2 or 3 of each per vessel to get them to work properly. So I get it. Um, Here's a fun little trick for sizing. When you're measuring the interior width for the gallery on this, when you turn it around, if you have double-sided calipers, this width you want to be 1/8 of an inch larger than what it actually says, and that'll be a closer fit to your lid size than the actual measurement of the calipers. So that's my fun fact of using calipers. Cool. So now we have a nice little round lid. We're going to poke out some holes in it with a piece of brass that's somewhere. Thanks. Appreciate that. Of course, Sydney. Correct. Yeah. If you do exactly what the calipers say, it's going to get too small. Which is counterintuitive, as you would think that it would be identical because it's a caliper and it's a measurement is whatever. And I don't know if that's because, no, the clay shrinkage wouldn't matter. I don't know why, but that's what I've learned over the years. Cool. Let me know how it goes. I hope it works for you. I've had great success with that over the years. I can't, Fluffy. Things I've liked that I've done the most, I sell. I sell everything. The only things I keep are the ones that break. And so I have some pieces that are broken that are up in my apartment that like leak, or they have like some kind of fault that I've kept for myself because of that. But so, question for you guys. Sure do. This is my full-time job, Fluffy. My question is, do I poke holes in 3 spots or do I just leave one? And I'm kind of liking just this one. It tells you that it's double-walled. It mimics the other sides, the side of the pot. Oh, wait, I was going to poke holes throughout this entire thing. I wasn't going to do the flower pattern. I screwed up. I guess we're going to do the flower pattern for for this teapot. That's not what I was planning on, but I don't want to make another lid because I'm lazy. So we'll just make another teapot. Can never have too many teapots. Cool. I sure do. Yeah. Yep. Mistakes happen. That's all right. I like the flower pattern a lot. It is what it is. And again, my plan is to have at least 5 teapots in each one of these firings. So um, that's 15 teapots that we need to make. And I've only made like 7 so far, or 6 for the next 3 firings. So we have to step up our game. Very cool. Do you live in Sweden? Nice. My neighbors have a house in Sweden and they are there constantly. It looks pretty. Okay, I need this later. So what is the next thing we need to do? I think the next thing we need to do is finish making the bottom of the Janet. It's not going to be Janet. I have no idea. I've never been good at guessing names. Jocelyn. There we go. All right. I think this is long enough, large enough. So this thick piece is going to be the flange of our teapot lid. I give up. You tell me. Never been good with name guessing. Jamie. Nice. Well, nice to meet you, Jamie. I'm still going to call you Fluffy, though, because Fluffy's a sweet name. Jamie is too, but, you know. Cool. Okay. All right. I like there's the one. I think there's something really pleasing about it. That was a good decision, Christina. I don't need that anymore. This bat is off. Can you hear that? Later, Fluffy. Have a good day. Thanks for stopping in. Cool. It's a problem. Yeah, it's a problem. It makes life so much harder. Okay. So we're gonna let this set up a little bit and just dry normally, but there we go so far. So we just got this like thick, chonky boy that we'll trim a gallery and stuff into in a sec. So next thing we're gonna trim is the teapot itself. And you know what? Yeah, we're gonna center it on here, and then I'm gonna run out into the woods and pee because we've been doing this for 74 minutes right now, and I've had a lot of tea. So let's trim this guy out. We'll put this on the chuck. All right, give me a half a second, and I'm gonna take my headphones out so you don't have to listen to me pee. I'll be right back. right. Also, is the audio better today? And I'm gonna just actually, I'm really frozen in here. My fire does not want to start for some reason. I don't get why. I'm gonna just put on a jacket. Oh, Olive, can I take this? I'm really cold, sweetie. You can have this part of my jacket. You can have the alpaca part, and then I'll take the fleece part. That sound good? This wood that I'm using right now is like just wet, and cold, and it's driving me a little insane. I'm excited for warmer weather, so I can just get some dry wood. It's not frozen over. Okay. So we have a couple more steps to do. Trim this. Trim the lid. Put on the lid, spout. Put on the handle. Cut the holes out of the handle. Cut the holes out of the spout. Or cut the holes out of the handle body, and then we'll look at it. We'll decide if we want to keep it. We'll go from there. So I'm going to be in here most of the day. So after we're done making this teapot, I'm going to take like a 15-minute just relax, sit down break. And then we'll be back in here and we'll make maybe a cup, if that's of interest, a double-walled cup. Or things don't have to be double-walled, but I kind of want to get all my double-walled pots out of the way, and then I can just kind of supplement with single-wall pots if I need to fill space. We could make a mug, a double-walled mug. Considering that was something people were asking for earlier on in the video. All right. Oh, look at that. I do, Christina. I do hear. So this will be rewatchable. And I'm going to go back and forth between vertical and horizontal. I couldn't turn my camera this time. I tried my hardest to have it horizontal for playback, so it would be more interesting to watch. But I could not, for the life of me, do it. So like when you rewatch the beginning of this video, you're gonna watch like the first like 3 minutes is me trying to struggle, trying to figure out how to get the camera orientation to not be vertical, and I couldn't. So I just gave up and we just committed to it. But yeah, everything we do on live tour will just be here. But yay, how was it? Hopefully good. I'll be here all day, sharp. What do you guys want to see next, though? Do you want to see a mug next? Do you want to see, I don't know, something else? Awesome. Glad to hear. Yeah, I was thinking about that too, Christina. I can't imagine that. Yeah, we should probably not talk smack about people. Yeah. Awesome. Sounds good. Sounds like a busy day. I do, Joyce. We could make a double wall tumbler. That would take us like 10 seconds. I haven't done it too often because to be honest, tumblers, I don't drink out of tumblers, but we could make a double wall tumbler. Is that something we'd like to do? Sounds like a really busy day. I think you got this. I'm sure it'll be wonderful. So, Joyce, this tumbler, do we want it undulating? Or do we want it to be like just like a tumbler, just like bleh? Can't go wrong with that. Okay. And like we were talking about the other day, I'm not going to undulate the foot because I kind of like, again, the juxtaposition between um, the straight up and down and the undulation at the top. Okay, I don't need this anymore. Actually, we do need this later for if we make a tumbler. So maybe I'll just keep this to the side for a tumbler. It's been a while then. A couple months, eh? That'll be good. A nice reset. Yeah, I burn my hands often here. That is the one downside to a torch is that like I'm making things hot and I'm impatient for different certain steps. So I just grab stuff. Garden, how are you? Thanks for sending in a bunch of cool people. Appreciate that. And thank you for that. I hear we're going to talk about feet. Exactly. Fire makes everything better. You don't need patience. You don't need this. You don't need that. It's great. All right. So that's secure. I have taught a teapot class before, and everybody had heat guns during the class. Um, it would be great if they had torches because heat guns you have to plug in and they take forever and blah blah blah. But here's the big thing: is that I don't know how many teapot classes I really want to do. Maybe like one-off workshops, maybe in my own studio and stuff like that. But um, teapots are hard, and it's hard to find a group of people who have the skill set to actually be able to make the teapot and the interest to do it. Um, it just doesn't. You can't. It's hard to find more than like a couple people to do that. Awesome, awesome. Love that. How's your day been today, Garden? Anything exciting going on? Torches are expensive, by the way. I went to buy a new one in person the other day, and in person downtown, I mean, I was probably getting scammed. This exact one, $78 without shipping. Down online, I got this one for like 30 bucks. Um, but I was surprised. I bought a really, really cruddy one the other day too, downtown for $40. This one's trash. I hate this thing because you have to turn it on and off every time you want to use it. It doesn't have a self-regulating clip thing. Oh yeah, that would be good. Thanks for hanging out. We'll talk soon, I hope. Hmm. All right. Later, Christina. All right. Exactly. Why, who wants to mess around with it when you're messing with clay? It makes absolutely no sense. Okay, I think that's good. It was usable for a little bit, but yeah, it was driving me insane. I couldn't keep at it, so I had to just go out and buy a new one immediately or order one online immediately. The only benefit to the one that I did buy that was like 40 bucks is it came with like uh, four bottles of uh, propane or whatever I'm using. So that was a plus, which also then just tells you that that thing was only worth like 10 bucks. Because those propane tanks, I believe, are $9 each or so. Hmm. I think they're too hot. Hmm. I think you want something. People ask me about those all the time. I've never personally used one for pottery, but I think they're too isolated, and I think you're putting off too much heat in an isolated area. I don't think it's going to be what you want for pottery. I appreciate that, Garden. Thank you. Okay. Porcelain. I very rarely work in stoneware. The black clay was a stoneware. Um, yeah, I very rarely work in stoneware, and have very rarely worked in it for the last 7 years or so. I've been mostly porcelain. I am contemplating going back to stoneware just to get a different color from things. Porcelain is really bad in my wood kiln. It looks, unless you're using a Shino, don't use it. It's pointless. Um, but in the soda kiln, it's kind of nice. And you know, there's a glaze called Ayumi, who it's named after. She designed it. Ayumi Hey Jorge, I think that's how you say her last name. She's up in Maine. It's a beautiful baby robin egg blue. Probably my favorite glaze that I use on porcelain. On stoneware, it's kind of almost like a teal. It's quite nice. But the colors change dramatically porcelain to stoneware. So I switched over to porcelain specifically for color. You get brighter colors. Nope, I think all clay is the same, honestly. Um, I use 92700 from Sheffield Pottery. It's a cone 10 porcelain. Um, and I've been using it for years. It's nice. It has its downsides. There are like issues with it. It probably one in every three bags I buy, not boxes, bags. And I usually buy 700 pounds of clay at a time. maybe 800, depending on what I'm feeling like. But I don't want to wreck my car. So 1 in 3 of the bags, and there's 2 bags to a box, is trash. And I essentially have to wedge in silica sand to make it usable, which is one of the reasons I started using silica sand. None of this has silica sand wedged in. I'm now over the look of silica sand. I'm back onto like pure porcelain, but this does have malachite put into it. I think it's only at like 5% though. They have a porcelain called Crystal Elaine's Crystal Porcelain, I think it's called, and it gives off kind of a nice blue hint, very similar to like a Troy's porcelain. Um, to be honest, I think every clay is the same. I really don't. Stoneware, porcelain, they all feel relatively the same to me. The only difference is like, do my hands hurt because of the amount of grog afterward? So I don't think I'm necessarily the right person. Everybody seems to like B mix, which is kind of like a porcelainous stoneware. So if you're trying to dabble in the territory of porcelain, that might be a nice way to get into it. But that's super cool. I'd love to go to China and check stuff out. My friend Lou, who I hope will start doing live YouTubes, I convinced her to do live TikToks, and then she bailed and not bailed. I bailed on TikTok, so I haven't seen if she's done anything. But she's gonna be doing some cool stuff in China soon. So jealous. All right, so now we have a hole that goes all the way through. It's in one of the holes here. Super awesome. And next step is to, yeah, grog is fine. I mean, why not use silica sand instead, though? And then you get a really cool pitting texture. What I want to tell you, there's a couple things. First, everybody who says porcelain is like this scary, horrible thing, they don't know what they're talking about. I think there's like this perpetuating fear in the community that porcelain is something it has to be precious and it has to be thin and it has to be delicate and it's hard to work with and all this stuff. It is slightly hard to work with because the more you work it, the wetter it gets and the softer it gets, and it's just going to kind of start slumping down on itself. So you can use as much water as you want as long as you go quickly. So that's one thing. The second thing is that porcelain, unlike stoneware, when you try to make a connection point, it has to be relatively wet. Otherwise, it'll just pop off. Stoneware, you can put stuff on at any stage you want. It doesn't really matter. It's fine. And when you torch it, porcelain pops and explodes, where stoneware just kind of fizzles and dissipates. So it's a little bit more dangerous. You can have pieces of hot porcelain throwing back in your eye. So those are my 3 things. Otherwise, it's the same. I will. I 100% will. I hope she has a channel here. Actually, let me see. So I think this woman, if she stays with pottery, is going to be big. I guarantee it. I've been saying it for since I met her. She's only 20. Uh, and really, really talented. How do I look at my own subscribers or like people I follow? Is there a way to do that, or am I just crazy? Okay, give me one more second to see if I can find her because I would really love to link her thing because she's, like I said, she's incredibly talented. Mm. All right, let me check one more thing because I still don't really understand how uh, I don't really understand how Instagram or YouTube works as far as like searching things goes. Blue Pine Pottery. Okay, I can't for the life of me find her her YouTube, but that's her Instagram. So I'm sure someone can find her YouTube from that. Super incredibly talented. It's going to be huge if she stays with it. I guarantee it. Definitely buy one of her pots while they're cheap. I can't, Joyce. I'm sorry. I don't use Cone 6 clay for the most part. Oh, that's smart, Garden. That's super smart. I will do that after this. Okay, so next step is we need to make a placement for where we're actually going to attach our, I'm just going to make a little, I accidentally hit something with my fingernail earlier and I thought that I had gotten rid of it. It looks like I didn't. Honestly, everybody always talks highly of Frost, and so that's probably the only one that I even know the name of. But yeah, I don't work in Cone 6, so I don't know. The only Cone 6 clay I know is Mastodon, which is that black clay that I used recently. Wait, which part did I say? I say so many things and then I completely forget that I said what I said. What are we talking about? What day is it? Yeah, I'm sorry, Joyce. Okay, so we're gonna put our thing here, or doozy what's it, that combobulates right here. I'm gonna cut it differently than I normally do. I'm gonna try something a little radical. I'm not going to cut out the bottom section, and I'm just gonna shove it into the pot itself to see if that helps with anything. I know that none of what I just said made sense, but just bear with me. Okay, so we have this cut, right? Super S. I have no idea. I have no idea what I say. I'm realizing that. I'm coming to the realization right now. Okay, so what I wanted to do right here is I'm just going to shove that in, and so it connects to this interior point. And then I'm going to, oh, okay, we screwed up. Oh no. That's too dry. I meant to do this way earlier. I just was distracted. Oh God, how do we do this? Okay, I'm gonna cut this out. So, no, you're good. You're good. We got this. Um, I don't really know how we got this, but we got this. Okay, I'm gonna try to wet this. I think that's the move. Yeah, I'm gonna wet this and then try to push this in and then add some clay to it maybe. It's pretty thin, and so I think it'll take the wetness okay. No, Garden, you keep going. I like it. I like the conversation. This is something I should have done like 40 minutes ago. It has nothing to do with what you're saying. All right, Sydney, it's been fun. Thanks for hanging out. All right. So essentially what I'm just trying to do is shove some water in there. And then I'm going to just gently finagle as much as I can this piece inward. And so I'm just going to slowly move that in until it connects or gets close to connecting. And then I'm hoping, and this is the big thing, is that this pot most likely will have to be twice fired because it most likely will leak from the spout. There's nothing I can do about it really at this point. We're going to try our hardest to make it work, but I don't think it will. So, and that's not a big thing. That's not a big deal. Twice firing these pots a lot of the time makes them look so much better anyway. And so, like, yeah, it kind of sucks because this is a guaranteed to not work at this exact moment, but that's not, not the end of the world. Now, if it doesn't work after the second firing, I will be slightly bummed, but that's okay. So what I'm going to do now is take a coil. I'm just going to shove it in there and try to connect the points. I can't get any closer, which is why I'm kind of worried about the actual functionality of this. But you live and learn, that is a fat coil, too fat. All right. I've said it time and time again, but I'll say it again. Spit over slip. If you really want something to connect, best to spit on it. Okay. If I dry this really slow too, I think we're not in a rush because it's not even. Are we halfway into? Oh God, it's the 26th of February right now. Wow. All right. Maybe this will just be an April teapot, April fired teapot instead of a March fired teapot. Again, we had to make three or five. We're going to make 5 teapots per firing, so this will just be a later teapot, later firing brain. The positive of the opening on the bottom of this one is I think that I can actually, if I'm careful, I think I can actually, yeah, so I soda fire and I wood fire. And so soda is at temperature, at cone 10, I add in 5 pounds of sodium chloride to the kiln, and that bonds with the clay and it creates its own glaze. So you get the same wood ash effects as like a wood kiln, except the wood ash is, instead of yellow like a wood kiln, it's blue, sometimes green. It's just another style of atmospheric firing. And I spray it in with a garden sprayer. Hold on, you're gonna have to stare at a light for a second. It takes me about an hour and a half to spray it in. I usually have a friend who pulls the brick for me, and on this particular soda kiln, there are 28 ports. And so it takes kind of a while to do all of the work. I'm feeling more confident about this one just because I can access this point. I never can access this bottom section, so just because of how we made this teapot, it's possible, so that's kind of cool. Though the milliliter capacity of this teapot is actually quite small compared to its size. Just one of the byproducts of making double-walled forms. So this will probably only hold 125 milliliters, even though this teapot's rather large. So there we go. I do garden, but what I will say is that if you want to purchase something, you just let me know what it is online, and we can talk about shipping. Shipping is kind of weird. It's essentially at the moment, every time I've shipped outside the U.S. and Canada, it's cost around this in 2024 was around like $42 for shipping a cup or a teapot or something like that. But I shipped to Australia, I've shipped to Singapore, I've shipped all over the UK, I've shipped a bunch of places, a lot of places in South America, except not so much because they have such high tariffs. At least the places that I was shipping to. Lazy days are so nice. Bubble wrap, cardboard, compactable paper, newspaper, box. I've only had a few things break over the years. I'm pretty proud of my track record. I think I've done pretty. Sometimes, there are always exceptions, but for the most part, things get there in one piece. So pretty proud of that. Thank you. Appreciate that. I'm very excited for this one. I'm excited to get a handle on it so we can actually really look at it. We're like, I'd say like 75% done, 85% done maybe. I would like to put more holes in this one. I can't on the specific one because of the fact that I had to do all that finagling with the bottom part of the spout. I mean, with the interior section because I did it too late into the day. It was just too dry, and so this will suffer a little bit in that context, but that's okay. And I'm trying something different today. I'm going to prematurely add a coil right here on the interior bottom part because I'm kind of curious if I do this when I add the spout, if I can kind of like get away with a different angle. Never done this before, just trying something new. But I was thinking about this last night when I was doing, of course, garden. If I love live videos, I wish I could just do live videos and never post anything ever. I'm a big fan. I like talking while I'm working and stuff. It makes my time in here a lot nicer, so I appreciate it. Okay, so will this be good? We're about to find out. Okay. Every spout is always cut the same way, always higher here and lower here. And so it always has a belly. So you never have to, I always see potters like leveling these up and making them look like they're going to sit properly, whatever. You don't need to because they're always going to be cut the same way. Unless your teapot form is fundamentally different than any other type of teapot form, but that's pretty rare. But even then, you're still pretty much getting the same base concept. I don't think adding that coil was helpful. Why did I think that was going to be helpful? For some reason in my mind, that coil was going to be like an added benefit to me today. Why did I think that? Oh, I see why I wanted to do it. Oh, I guess it makes sense. I'm glad, Garin, because I go live all the time. I haven't, you know, been recently because it's just too cold, but usually if I'm working, I'm live. So that's not all the time, but a substantial amount of my time. Okay, I'm not opposed. I'm not hating that. I feel like it's doing all right. It sounds good. Um, there's a cool like children's pottery set, and I bought it years ago, and it has all the tools that I need. And I recently ordered a new one for a student of mine, and sadly, all the tools are worse. They're all the same tool, but they're not the same angles and things. And maybe I just got a bad batch for them, but pretty upsetting. Um, but I think doing this now will be smart. I don't really know why I think that either, but it feels right. So we'll do that tumbler um, after we finish this teapot and I take a short break because uh, it's not good to stand as long as I stand here without sitting every so often. So, and I'm missing my very, very important tool, my paintbrush. This is not, oh, there it is. I'm just blind. Hmm. Um, I'm in Connecticut. Oh, wait, are you talking about the one we were talking about today or the New England Wood Fire Council that I'm on as well? So because I'm going to be firing my wood kiln in probably early April, and then I'm firing a Anagama wood kiln style in mid-April as well. It's a kiln I've never been a part of. That one's in Connecticut, and then the soda firing is also, yeah. So the New England Wood Fire Council, yeah, it starts in Connecticut and it goes up to Maine. Um, I think there's one spot left in mine if you wanted to fire with me. Uh, I'm only accepting 4 people. I put up 5, but I'm only accepting 4. And I think there's one spot left. I don't know. I don't run that website. I just, when people message me saying that they're firing with me, I say yes and give them the details. Oh yeah, maybe that'll be my next career if I need more money because the pottery doesn't pan out. I'm really hoping my father has a tremor that's quite horrible and it's genetic, and I'm really hoping that I don't get it. He got his when he was in his started happening in his mid 60s, and he's 70 now, and it's like, I mean, it's like probably like that bad. It's not great. Agreed, Garden. I am doing online Zoom classes by request. Uh, I've done a couple now, and they're okay. They work out okay, but it's not quite the same. Oh, that's all right. You know, he's a good sport. So the poor dude fell the other day and got a concussion though. So now he's been incredibly dizzy and has the has the tremor. Oh yeah, it's good to sit down. That's why why I'm looking after my feet. I forgot you're a podiatrist. I haven't been to a podiatrist in a long time. I had kind of a bad experience when I was a kid with one. Um, he was just like really adamant about having me get surgery, um, and every other podiatrist we went to was like, "Why would you get surgery?" So I don't know why that really threw me off though. But I went down a different route. So we were talking earlier. Um, my father has incredibly flat feet that I have inherited, and he went down the orthotics route, and I decided to, instead of wearing orthotics ever, wear no support whatsoever, but then just always be maintaining and then wearing very thin shoes so I'm really feeling the ground and stuff. So I wear children's shoes. I wear native shoes everywhere for pretty much everything except for long distance hiking and stuff. And I am wearing boots right now just because it's so wet out, but it's worked out so far for me. Hmm. Yeah, he was a weird dude. He gave me whatever. It doesn't really matter. No reason to bring it up, but I it was a weird move to try to like push me into having an arch surgery, um, and that seemed very unnecessary from any other doctor I ever talked to after that. Cool. All right. Next step. I have to go grab my handle and hope it's not too dry. Oh God, I'm ready to sit down. Oh, it's actually not as dry as I thought it would be. Here's our handle. So we're gonna do a couple things to it first. Um, First thing we're gonna do to it is we're gonna bevel. Not that you can see. I'm gonna bevel the edge though before I put it on. Just get it going. And this is not the ideal way to do it. A lot of time I just do this once it's on the pot, but today I was kind of struggling with doing this on the pot last night when I was in here making a teapot. So I just kind of want to get the influence first. And then I can kind of just start the flow of it. Thank you. Really appreciate that. It's very sweet of you. Cool. So many doctors in here today. Appreciate you, Garden. Sending everybody over here. Cheese, sure. What kind of cheese? What kind of cheese are we talking about? Let me put this down real quick because I need to clean up that side. Okay. 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 I think this is okay. All right. It's a little dry. I'm a little worried. I mean, a little wet. This is a little dry and this is a little wet. I'm a little worried this is not going to work, but that's okay. Okay. Wish me luck. Okay, I could do this. Ta-da! Ta-da! Big handle. No, we're gonna cut it down. Feet and cheese, what a combo, eh? Mm. All right. So we can cut this way down. I always like making these handles way too big so I can really bring them down however much I need to. Gross. Okay, there we go. That's, I think, a good size for us. Thank you. Appreciate that. Okay, so I'm going to try to bevel this edge even more. Thank you. We're going to poke holes in this handle in a sec too, but I want to try to get more of a bevel if I can. Thank you, thank you. Okay, so that's a solid bevel. And we can, it's not the bevel I actually really want, but we can deal with that later. So now we have to connect it. And I need to make a cut that is angled inversely right here. Okay. Because the whole thing is double walled. So like this is our lid, for example. It's a double walled lid. So there's going to be holes in this entire teapot as well. You see that back hole right there? That was just the air hole, so nothing imploded. Oh, I guess I didn't really answer your question though. Why holes in the lid or in the handle itself? Aesthetically, it just flows nicer. And have you ever seen a teapot with holes in its handle? I certainly haven't, and I've certainly never seen a double-walled teapot with a hole in its handle. In fact, I've never seen anybody else's double-walled teapots at all, except for this one dude who completely ripped me off the other day, which is fine. No such thing as an original idea. Of course. What kind of tea you gonna have? Having puer at the moment over here. My headphone just died. So something about this handle, it's like too thick, and I thought the bevel was gonna fix it for us, but it hasn't really done what I wanted it to. How do I do this? My piece of newspaper is a tea towel. It works out well. Okay. I hate this handle. Why do I hate this thing? It's just too thick. Okay, let me see if I can. I think when I was making it, I forgot to do, when I was drawing, I forgot to do a pretty important step. And I'm suffering from that lack of concentration. I think we might have to remake. Yeah, you think so? Maybe. So already it's looking better. Do you see how thin I made that compared to that? If I can make this everywhere, I think I'll be happy with it. The question is, am I going to ruin the shape by doing so? Maybe. Sounds good. All good. I will go live almost daily for like 2 weeks at a time, and then I'll come like take. You'll not see me for like a month, and then I'll come back 2 weeks at a time, and then come off. Um, as long as the heat stays, I'll be here. I think we're gonna have another cold snap starting tomorrow, and so I will be in here all day today, but I won't be back until the next warmer day around here. I don't have enough wood to heat my studio at the moment for the rest of the year, so for the rest of the winter. So, but I will be, and I will be streaming here quite often. My tea bag is my giant thermos. Or am I missing something here? My brain is like a little doozy what's it's from this lack of thinness. I can't believe I did that. That's the first time I've made a handle like this, and I forgot to do a very important thing. I think what we might do is just scrap this handle. I don't think I can come back from this. I can't. So we're going to scrap it. I appreciate it, but this handle's no good. We've spent all this time making a double walled teapot. I'm not going to waste like commit to a handle that's just okay. You know what I mean? What I can do is I can take this over to my plaster bat, and I might actually be able to fix this. So let me just see if I can. It means that we're going to have to not finish the teapot right now because I need this to set up and dry. But let's see. Oh, I did. I did. I'm now feeling it. I missed an entire step. That's a surprise. No wonder I wasn't liking that. Yeah, interesting. So usually what I do is bevel down on both sides of the uh, handle, and I just for some reason didn't do it on this one. Fascinating. Why would I have forgotten such a key step? Okay, so I just remade it. So I've skinnied it out, which means that we won't be able to put the holes except for the back, which is fine. And then I've essentially pushed down the sides, and so it came down to itself a little bit. And now what I'm going to do is, before we put it on again, I'm going to lay it on its back over here on the table or somewhere, and I'm going to bevel this edge now before I can do it later. And I think we're actually good. It's dry enough. It's dry enough to kind of like mess with it at the moment and just get right back into it. And I did cut off a section and everything like that. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you guys for joining it. That means a lot. I'll be here, but, and I'll post the end results to my shorts of this teapot. Okay, I like that. I'm feeling this. This is already way better. Not the tool I wanted, but it will be the tool that we use. Okay, now the other thing I learned from that was that I didn't like the size of this, so we're going to cut this down. And then I need this little toothy dude. Okay. Oh my god, way better. Way better. Night and day. I don't know if you can tell the difference whatsoever on the camera or whatnot, but night and day for me. It's going to need some weird corrections because I did thin it out a little bit aggressively in one spot, but I'm much happier with this. Okay. Okay. Yeah, there we go. I'm happy with that. Cool. You just need a little bit of finagling, a little schmoozing, you know? Oh, so much. I mean, like a million times better. I don't know if it comes across or not on the video or not, but this is way better than what we had before, to me. Yeah, awesome. All right, now there's just like a little bunch of minute little details that are definitely not going to be visible for you guys, but thank you, Joyce. Can you see the difference, Joyce, from what it looked like before? Or does it just sound like I'm a crazy person? Mm, cool. Yeah, awesome. I like it when it. I'm glad you caught it too. I really love when the spout, which was quite long when we started, looks like a little stubby, and it looks like it's coming out of the handle a little bit. There's just like something kind of fun about that aesthetically. I'll be here live quite often once the weather heats up. It's gonna get cold again soon, or as tomorrow, and as in tomorrow. But as soon as it like stops freezing every night, I'll be in here all the time. It's just too much of a pain for me to bring my work in and out from different spaces every time I want to work. There's like these little minute details that I'm adding in, like crevices and stuff that, again, are not really going to be, they might not even really be visible after they've even been fired, but I know it's there. And it's just like, I feel like the feeling in clay is interesting where it's like you're, huh, I just got out of work tomorrow. That's pretty sweet. Hold on, I just need to, fascinating. I should definitely double check if I actually have work today or not, but I don't think I do. I'm almost positive it's parent teacher day today. So you know what? I'm gonna stop touching the handle for half a second. It's just too wet. It's too whatever. I'm just not gonna deal with it at the moment. I'm going to finagle the back just a little bit, just to make sure it's really set in there. And then, uh, usually the next step is to put the holes in the handle. Um, but because the handle is so soft, because we had to retouch it, um, we're gonna do the body part first. And we're gonna do our whole pattern all the way through, but because of we were going to do the holes everywhere, but I screwed up because I wasn't paying attention when we were doing the lid. So we're back to our flower pattern. Okay, whole time. I do, but not at that school. I take a bunch of kids to the mountain to go skiing in the winter, and then I teach them tennis. I was the full-time art teacher there, and I was a pottery teacher there, and I was a PE teacher at that school, and I've done a lot of things. Outdoor education classes. I used to teach a fort building class and a wild edible class, and um, outdoor club, and what else have I done at that school? I've done a lot. I've done pretty much everything, but I don't. Kids are not my favorite, and I don't really want to be teaching indoor classes anymore since COVID. Um, and so, like, I enjoy teaching, but I don't. It's not my teaching kids. It's not my passion. But I give adult lessons quite often in my studio. I used to teach rock climbing as well. That's right. Freya, oh my God, you guys are so sweet. I can't, I can't even. I really appreciate that. I've learned over the years that I like teaching kids a lot to a degree, but I also kind of want to, the song, this is Slow and Steady by Fluffy, but we're going nice and slow on this guy. So there's half of it done. I'm liking how it's coming out. I love the flower pattern. You know, I know that we were going to do the other pattern, but the flower pattern is just so great. So, all right, gotta pour myself another cup of tea, and we're gonna keep going. I am definitely slowing down though. You know, we've been doing this for 152 minutes now. There's one teapot. I would love to. If there's a place to do some pottery and you guys want to feel like hosting a person who would just take enough money to pay for a ticket, let me know. I would 100% jump on that. And preferably a place to stay. But ah, did I just? Oh no, I'm good. I almost thought his doctors are awesome. That's why cool. Obviously. Fair, fair, fair. Oh, my Canadian accent. You can't get me excited though, because then I break into my American accent. I mean, I break into my Canadian accent. So be careful there. What's up, dog? How are you? I'm glad you're into it, Joyce. I said it over the years that I've been streaming everywhere, but I don't know if I could honestly do this if I didn't have like a live video to like have a conversation with you guys. Because it gets really boring and lonely in here. Olive, my dog, is sleeping in her bed next to the fire, so she's not interacting with me. So it's really nice. It makes it a lot nicer in here for me. And I don't really like watching videos or things like that while I'm working, so it's just nice to talk and just kind of be able to like space out and have conversation. Good, good. I'm glad to hear that. I'm hoping we're actually going to be able to finish this teapot. There is a chance that we're going to have to just let it um, like set up for a little bit. And this is not the time to use the torch. This is where you try to speed up the process and the whole thing is ruined. Actually, I was going to take like a 20-minute tea break after this, but I might go make lunch because it is almost 2 o'clock here. And I haven't eaten anything today yet, but cool. I mean, come on. That's pretty cool, right? All right, we got to do some cleanup now. Um, oh, wait, we have to even do this. Okay, we have to finish the connection point here because that is a weird connection point. And then we have to think about, so I was going to put holes everywhere in the handle originally, but at the moment it's impossible to do that. So what I think, thank you, thank you. Of course, I'll show her after the video. I think I can only put holes in the handle back here. This is too small, so that's okay. And I know I don't have to put holes at all, but again, there's just something so silly about holes in a handle. And I'm all about silly looking pottery. Okay. You know, I'm not even sure. Oh, they haven't fully canceled tomorrow, even though the mountain's closed, because the mountain that I'm trying to take these kids to is not officially closed yet. It's only closed because the one of the coach's husband is part of the ski patrol and said it was closed, but they haven't officially announced it. Whatever, doesn't matter. I'm now babbling about nothing. All right. They certainly sound beautiful, don't they, Joyce? Right, Amanda? We weren't going for the flowers. We were actually going for cut everything through, but I wasn't paying attention when we made the lid, and I put flowers into the lid. So now we're flowers everywhere. How are you today? I guess I can do that later. It certainly looks like it, right? It's not, but it looks like it. You know, it's like, how silly can we make a teapot? I think this is it. This is a silly looking teapot. Quite pleased. Now, I'm a little, to be honest, a little concerned about the connection point because we did cut it off and then reattach it to like a nubbin thing that's here that may or may not bite us in the butt while this thing is slow drying, but that's okay. Cool. I'm glad you're into it. Okay, so it really feels like we can only really put poles. Yeah, I have a student of mine who uh, takes their stuff to a laundromat all the time, and so she brings me all of the plastic from the laundromat, and those pieces of plastic are just phenomenal because they're thin, they're see-through, you can layer over very easily. They're lovely. I don't normally slow dry my stuff though. I make something double walled or not. I put it out. It's done. I don't touch it again. Good. I'm glad that I'm not alone then. Babbling's a daily occurrence, especially when I'm like not sure about something or I'm kind of working on something or all right. So we're almost done. We just gotta soften. Oh wait, we gotta put doozy what's it in the whatchamacallit. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? I'm not alone here, right? So if I want to put holes in the lid, I can only put them back here. And I guess here's my question to you guys. No, I have to put a hole in the lid. On the handle. I don't know why I keep saying lid. I'm gonna put one set of flowers, just like on the. So again, the it'll mirror this because the lid only has one set of flowers, so this can mirror that. Done. I've convinced myself. All right, where are we gonna start? Low down as possible. And I committed. It's done. We're committing to it. I'm not doing this again. It's a pottery term. The doozy what's it. It's in all pottery related manuscripts. Yeah, that makes sense to me. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. We're doing all right. Okay, at this point. This is a little sketchy. So you're cutting a circle into a curved form, which means that the connection point is shallower than the part that you're actually cutting into. So if you don't cut at an angle straight away and down, the interior parts connect and then it rips a hole. So it stays whole on the outside, but on the interior, you just have like a half of a piece of clay that's ripped down and it looks really ugly. I don't know if that made any sense. The point is, this has to be angled up, this has to be angled down, this has to be dead straight, out, 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 out on the handle. Otherwise, you're going to have a really bad time. I know that made no sense to anybody, so I'm just going to keep blabbering on. This is wetter than it really wants to be. Oh, but I'm too impatient and I want to go eat food. Shadow play? Oh God. Ah! Oh no. I think I may have messed up. Okay. We got this. Just gotta crack the neck a little bit. I get my butt against the wall and just commit. Please don't break. 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 Okay. That gotcha. Yeah. Things are getting serious right now. I never put my butt against this wall. Um, okay, I think that was the hardest part. I may have just jinxed myself by saying that, but I think what I just did was the hardest circle that I was gonna do out of this handle. I take it back, I lied. Deep breath. All right, we got this. We got this. Magic. Done. Wait, we're not done. I have to go back in. Aha! All right, now we're done. Don't futz with it. That's the key here. Ta-da! Okay. Okay, now I can't. I definitely am not even gonna pretend to attempt to do that anywhere else. That would be ludicrous. So I'm gonna soften everything else. Then I'll soften the top, and then we'll do a finalized shaping on the handle to make sure we're pleased with it. And then we'll do a little spin and take an hour break because I might make myself this actual food for once. That's true. That it might actually be advantageous to do that, but is it really, Amanda? No, Joyce, you're good. I just don't quite understand. There's no wrong anythings here. Also, uh, if you guys haven't realized, I don't take offense to pretty much anything anybody says ever. Um, so like, say away, just don't be hateful. That's the only request I have. Now, Amanda, what about this one is your favorite compared to other double-walled teapots with holes? Is there something about this that is more aesthetically pleasing, or is it just a Is it just? Oh my God! Wait, does that mean if the mountains close tomorrow, does that mean it's going to rain tomorrow, which means it's going to be warm? Does that mean I get to be in here tomorrow too? Oh, 2 days in my studio in a row. Ah man, I've been dying to get in here more, and it's just been too cold. I get miserable in here because I'm using cold water and I don't have enough wood to heat it. So uh, I went through like I don't know, like 10 cords of wood this year, firing kilns and heating my studio and having fires outside. I really burned a lot. But fire is the one thing that really relaxes me if I'm anxious. So I uh, I have a lot of fires if uh, I need a chill out. Which, speaking, since we were talking about it, genetic inheritance from my father, that seems to also been from him because like the dude has so many fires. I just am constantly fire. If I don't have at least a fire a day, um, things are crazy. And my fire does not count if it's in my wood stove. I mean, like an outdoor fire. Oh man, I hope you get in there soon. I hope it feels okay when you get in. What are you gonna make when you get in there? Awesome, 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 awesome. Okay, awesome. I love it. I'm glad that well, you weren't here for the first handle on this, right? We redid the handle because I didn't like how it looked the first time. So I'm glad that you're liking this handle because I'm liking this one way more than the first iteration. Mm. I forgot a step with the first handle we did. I forgot like the main step. Uh, and so like we put it on, it was like this thick handle and it was just not doing it for me. An urn sounds like a really lovely thing to make. Is there something specific about the urn that you're design wise that you're focusing on? Is there anything like related to them that is going into that, or is this just a up to you kind of situation? I would like to make more urns. I think that's kind of a nice thing. Um, and I used to make when I first started making pottery, I had urn requests all the time for various people and animals, and then the request just disappeared. And I think about it every so often, but nice. That's awesome. It's nice that that we can make stuff like that and then pass that on and have that. It's kind of a nice. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I'm getting hungry. The sentiment is positive though. Okay, so we're done. Let me put this lid on. Oh wait, hold on. The only thing that has to happen now, and it's or not now, I essentially am going to go back with sandpaper or a Scott Bright pad, like a Scott those green pads. And when this is bone dry, I'm going to resand everything and make sure it's nice and toasty. There's a good chance this will be pink, Amanda. I am going for pink, orange, and purple for the next pieces, for the next firings. I'm over blue. I don't want to make blue anymore. I don't want to do green anymore. I mean, I will because that's what sells and I need money. Um, but I don't want to. I want to make pink and I want to make orange and I want to make purple. That's what I want to do with my pottery. Fair, fair. It's just that I need like at least above freezing in here to work. Otherwise, I can't do it. It the clay doesn't work. So, you know, I'm blaming it on the clay, not because I can't deal with the cold. Yeah, I got half Canadian blood in me, so I'm a little into the cold, you know. Anyway, I'm psyched on this. I think this is a cool one. I I feel like the spout is the most lacking. I feel like I could have done something more creative with the spout, maybe added like a bevel or something. It's never ending, Christina. I finally we're 176 minutes into this teapot build. It's a long time. Thank you. I like the spout too. I like it how it kind of juts out, but I'm thinking more along the sides, the design of like the shape of the spout's just a round ball. You know, it's just an opening. And I think aesthetically, I kind of like more oblong or just more like an oval shaped, egg shaped thing, just to change it up. We were having a conversation earlier when we were making this where I couldn't really tell you any names of potters that I make teapots that I really like because they all just look like the same teapot to me. They're beautiful. I'm not saying they're not beautiful, but I don't see variation in that design. And that spout reads to me traditional style teapot spout. And then the rest of this teapot is not traditional at all outside its actual shape. That everything else about it is kind of non-traditional. Um, so anyway, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go eat something, and then I'll be back in like an hour. And then we're going to do a tumbler. And then if you guys have any other requests, let me know when we come back in an hour. We'll make the tumbler first. It'll take about a 15th of the amount of time this took, and it'll pour whatever you want. Anything you would like, this will pour. All right, I'm gonna go. Thanks again, everybody. I appreciate it. I'll see you soon.